Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to our Fallout 4 deep dive series. If you're new here, please consider subscribing for more great Fallout content in the future, and if you're returning, welcome back, and be sure to like and share the video if you enjoy the content today. If you're new here, this is our Fallout 4 lore deep dive series, which focuses in on characters, factions, and locations specifically within the Fallout 4 universe. The goal of this series is to cover sections of the game that we've explored during our playthrough of Fallout 4. Our journey has taken us through some incredible locations and introduced us to some interesting characters. Today's episode is focusing in on the pre-war company that promised a focus of non-lethal technology, but after some exploration, we quickly realized that is not exactly how it went down. With that being said, grab a Nuka-Cola and some cram, and let's take a deeper look at HalluciGen Incorporated.
Gunners are moving to Back Bay. Whereas if they're after something in the old HalluciGen building, keep your distance so they clear out.
If we spend some time exploring the downtown Boston area just west of the Vault-Tec Regional HQ, we'll eventually come across the gray, rusted-out ruins of HalluciGen Incorporated. Now, before the Great War, HalluciGen Inc. was a biochemical manufacturer and innovator. They were aspiring to be the world leader in non-lethal technology for the police and the military. Recently, a contingent of gunners, the Gunners being another faction that we'll cover in a future video, came to the facility on a contract of a classified client to secure pre-war military technology. They were specifically interested in the facility's InvisiWave.
InvisiWave from HalluciGen is a new advance in the field of stealth technology, capable of doing away with cumbersome personal generators forever. Some subjects may become inaudible and/or intangible. Effects may be permanent. Further research is ongoing.
And the Eradicator weapons.
HalluciGen's Eradicator provides your forces with a state-of-the-art field decontamination solution. Small amounts of residual radiation may persist in the affected area. Dosage subject to change pending safety evaluations.
As well as to access the facility's mainframe to download any available schematics. Unfortunately, when the lab was accessed by the Gunners, a hallucinogenic chemical was released, causing the Gunners who came in contact with it to enter a murderous frenzy from catastrophic adrenal gland rupture. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But those Gunners that survived the initial wave died fleeing the location. They were shot in the back by their frenzied brethren.
In the unlikely event of a major chemical leak, executive staff should evacuate immediately. Science staff should terminate any ongoing experiments if the test subjects are present.
HalluciGen Inc. was a pre-war company that was based in Boston. It claimed to develop a non-lethal biochemical technology for use by the U.S. Armed Forces and police forces across the country for riot and crowd control purposes. Although we're introduced to HalluciGen Inc. in Fallout 4, we can find references to the company in Fallout 76 in Frederick River's terminal located in Riverside Manor. By this point, HalluciGen had developed a bad reputation that even those in communication with Frederick questioned his desire to use the gas. And I'll read an entry, it's just a section of that terminal, but I like your second approach better. Why integrate the cloaking device and the gas when just wiring the gas release to the field switch will do? Sure makes assembly easier. Getting the explosive release valve right is going to be tricky, but this should cut down on potential leaks. You sure you want to use HalluciGen gas though? Their HQ is up my way, and word on the street is that stuff's bad news. If you decide to try this out, make sure you've got enough ventilation, just in case. While HalluciGen was most known for the HalluciGen gas, they released that in 2055 for military and police, they had several other products lined up for release. Now, despite HalluciGen gas being questioned in the Riverside Manor terminal with that communication that we just read, other parts of Appalachia was also approached by HalluciGen. Now, one company did not, interact with it and agree to use it, and that would be the Garahan Mining Company, due to protests for working conditions. and then the other would be the Poseidon Energy Plant. And they actually agreed to let the National Guard come in and utilize hallucinogen gas for riot control. And, you know, if you've ever played Fallout 76 and went to the Poseidon Energy Plant, it is a very useful resource, first off. But secondly, you can see, you know, the remains of, you know, the chaos that had to have ensued there with the use of that. So, you know, we're not just limited to small individual interactions with this product. It's, you know, on a much larger scale being utilized by companies. Also, to bring it back to Fallout 4 specifically, since that is our main focus, within the Commonwealth, HalluciGen was also used or came to an agreement with Vault 88, which now I want to mention Vault 88 is a potential settlement that can be found in finished. It's an unfinished vault in Fallout 4. It's located under the Quincy ruins, and if I'm not mistaken, it's part of the Vault Tech workshop add-on. But basically, whenever you discover the vault and you dive through it, you'll find a note that is specifically titled towards Dr. Valerie Barstow of Vault 88, and it says, "Hello. Thanks for giving HalluciGen this exciting opportunity to promote your scientific interest. Enclosed is the chemical formula to the specified project. I assure you it will exceed your expectations. If HalluciGen can assist you in the future, please do not hesitate to contact us." Signed, Samantha Hatchett, VP of Marketing, HalluciGen Inc. So this was basically going to be a formula that they use to, you know, mix in their soda fountain, water, things like that to conduct experiments on within this vault once it was finished and had residents, which if you've played Fallout 4 or you've seen the episode that we explored Vault 88, it was never completed. So you as the player or the sole survivor are given the opportunity to like complete it and convert it into a settlement. So, you know, it did find a lot of success, although it was still deemed like a failing company by sales and stuff. It still found its way into the public. And despite hiring the lead designer from the Fallout 3 reference company, Implied Hypnotics, lead designer that created the Mesmatron, another non-lethal weapon, the company's success rate was very low, which was reflected in most of their products failing in the testing department. By the third quarter of 2077, HalluciGen Inc. was in dire financial crisis with a revenue operating net loss of $1.8 billion. After failing to meet expectations and a string of catastrophic tests, the former Mesmatron creator was fired on October 18th, 2077.
HalluciGen Labs observation area. Please step up. HalluciGen's dispersant is ideal for peacefully clearing an area of civilians.
Please evacuate the building.
HalluciGen gas is definitely the most recognizable product associated with the HalluciGen Inc., as it's named after the company. But what I will say is that we're immediately introduced to it upon entry into the HalluciGen ruins. The gas is leaking everywhere, and we can even hear the remaining frenzied surviving gunner members fighting and causing chaos through the building when we enter. And most of the time when we enter in, we're immediately attacked from the balcony above us by those crazed gunners. To be specific, though, HalluciGen gas was considered a riot control tool to be delivered by a Type 2 fragmentation grenade. The gas itself was kept inside of a gas canister, and we can find several of these throughout our adventures through the HalluciGen ruins. But it was originally created in 2055, and testing and refinement would continue until the year 2077. And on October 18th, 2077, the testing during that time period revealed that the gas was causing traumatic adrenal gland rupture in exposed subjects. And this resulted in hallucinations, other forms of erratic behavior like extreme aggression, and even in some cases led to heart failure. Now, while HalluciGen gas is the predominantly recognized product within HalluciGen Inc., there were several others that this company was involved in and doing R&D on, and we'll take a few moments and look at those together. One of the big ones was called the dispersant.
Civilians.
Please evacuate the building.
HalluciGen is not responsible for any damage, injury, or loss of life sustained in mass panics that may or may not result from the use of dispersant.
And this product was ideal for peacefully clearing out an area of civilians. Now, whenever this product was tested, though, instead of killing the subject or, just causing the test subject to leave the area, it actually triggered a panic and flight response when the subject saw his own child in the waiting room, leading to a police pursuit that went for 2 days. It lasted for 2 days. The subject had to be institutionalized once they, apprehended him. The failure of this test led to the previously mentioned Mesmetron developer being fired and replaced with a woman named Karen. One of their other products we'll take a look at is called the Eradicator.
HalluciGen's Eradicator provides your forces with a state-of-the-art field decontamination solution. Small amounts of residual radiation may persist in the affected area. Dosage subject to change pending safety evaluations.
Now, I mentioned this in the beginning of the video, and this was one of the main reasons the gunners even entered this location. And this product was meant to provide forces with a state-of-the-art decontamination field. While it technically did what it was intended to do, this 2-ton machine applied 5,100 rads to the test subjects during development, resulting in a near-instant body collapse. This was reclassified as a lethal weapon, obviously, and the Eradicator was potent enough to necessitate stripping the test chamber and rebuilding it each time a test was performed. The next product is the InvisiWave.
InvisiWave from HalluciGen is a new advance in the field of stealth technology, capable of doing away with cumbersome personal generators forever. Some subjects may become inaudible and/or intangible. Effects may be permanent. Further research is ongoing.
Now, the InvisiWave was considered an advancement in field of stealth tech, capable of doing away with cumbersome personal generators forever. This was intended to be an invisibility device demonstrated to the U.S. Navy by HalluciGen. And to kind of explain what it is, because even when you're like activating it in the ruins, it's kind of hard to tell what it is, but the InvisiWave was actually 5 mirrors and 2 hacked stealth boys and a trap door. When tested and presented, it was deemed a success and led to inquiries for up to 200 units to be produced and installed upon Navy ships. Now, during its testing stages, it did turn some subjects intangible or even inaudible, an effect which may have been permanent. And last but certainly not least, probably my favorite product is the Suppressor.
Criminal scum? Don't get a gun. Try HalluciGen Suppressor, a safe, reliable, and effective way to paralyze even armored targets.
Oh.
Side effects may include the partial and/or complete paralysis of user, bystanders, small animals, and/or large animals. Discretion is
Please
advised.
evacuate the building immediately.
Now, the Suppressor was considered to be a safe and effective way to paralyze someone, including armored targets. The Suppressor released pacification gas with the intention of paralyzing the target, even if they were armored. This was done through an electrical discharge. Now, the side effects of the Suppressor were partial or complete paralysis of the user, bystanders, and even animals within the vicinity. Now, during testing, some subjects experienced permanent paralysis and needed to be transferred to the medical facility at Medford Memorial for treatment. I believe the idea behind HalluciGen Inc. was a good one in concept, a way to manage riots and protests with a form of non-lethal force. Unfortunately, the company fell victim to corruption and greed, and the lack of patience with product development when attempting to deliver the safety they promised. What was your favorite part of the HalluciGen weapon lineup? Do you think their intentions were genuine and then corruption snuck in, or do you think they were always corrupt from the start? Thank you for watching this episode of our Fallout 4 Deep Dive series. If you've made it to this point in the video, it's great to have you along for the ride. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't done so yet, and check out other videos in our series. Thank you to all of our Patreons who continue to support the channel in these videos. If you'd like to further support the channel and become a patron yourself, you can follow the link down in the description below. But as always, be sure to stock up on RadX and don't forget your Vault-Tec lunchbox. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Fallout 4 Deep Dive series.